Hey there, avid listeners. Thanks again for tuning into Sin's Workshop. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we're going to be discussing Lady Smoke by Laura Sebastian. This is the second novel in the Ash Princess trilogy. Now, the thing with trilogies is the second book will either make it or break it, oftentimes. For me, I feel like there's always this common thing that happens with the second books is it's a lot of filler. And I say this thinking of, the Two Towers and the Two Towers. I think that one's just filler. Oh, and is it War of the Twins? Yeah, I think it's War of the Twins. The Majir trilogy. So that's also another book that's just filler. It's not that they're bad, and it's not like nothing happens, but oftentimes I tend to get a little bit bored because it's like, okay, I get it. Can we move on? Can we get back to the high stakes, the high tension that was introduced in book one? Lady Smoke kind of fell into that trap. And I'm not saying it's a bad book. Like I said, I love War of the Twins and I love The Two Towers. But Lady Smoke, and I did like Lady Smoke, and just is a lot of filler for me. Now, that being said, I do think the story is one that's worth reading. I really do think it is going to be a nice bridge between the first book and the third book because there is a lot of character development here. So the first book, you have Theo. She's pretty much a caged bird. She's a princess without a crown. Her home was invaded, her mother was killed, and now she's basically a hostage and her people are enslaved or killed off, pretty much. She finally has escaped. She has escaped. She's with her aunt and her cousin. She is on the high seas looking for a way to get an army so that she can go back to her homeland and retake the throne and set her people free. She wants to destroy the Kaiser. He's a bastard. Let's just plain and simple. He's a bastard. And you're seeing a lot of development for her. So there's not really a lot, story-wise that's happening. Yeah, the Kaiser is after her. He has a bounty on her head. She's traveling on the high seas. She's willing to forsake a lot of her traditional customs in order to do what needs to be done in order to save her people and reclaim her kingdom. That's pretty much the gist of the plot line, right? But it's really focusing on those characterizations and those character dynamics, and those weren't really the focal point of the first novel. Here we're actually seeing that. You're getting to see Theo. First of all, Theo has grown a lot. She reminds me a lot of Sansa from the Game of Thrones TV show. She's learning. She's learning how to play the game. She's learning how to maneuver the pieces on the board so that she's not just a pawn, so that she's a queen. She is learning how to manipulate the situations, when to back down, when the battle is worth fighting for, when to not give in, to put people on the spot, to make a name for herself as a ruler. She's navigating everything and she's growing. And you're really seeing a lot of that growth in this novel. You're really seeing a lot of that political intrigue. You're seeing her become smarter. You're seeing her become more clever. You're seeing her become more calculating and politically minded while also not giving up her emotions. She's learning when to listen to her head and when to listen to her heart and when to listen to both without compromising the other one. And I think that's really good for a character-driven story to have such a strong female lead here. You're also seeing some growth in these side characters. Again, you didn't get to see that in the first book. It was really plot oriented. It was story driven. Here, you're seeing the dynamics between Dragonsbane and Artemisia shift. You're seeing her dynamics with these other characters. You're getting more backstory. You're getting more history. You're getting more depth into these character dynamics, the friendships, the bonds, the love. You're seeing it all come together because the story's focusing more on the characters and their growth and their journey. You're seeing secrets come to life. You're seeing guilt come to life. You are seeing Dragonsbane, who's not a good person. She's she's Theo's twin sister, so she looks exactly like her mother. but she's very cold and she's very bitter. And you see a lot of the anger she has to her sister, you know. She's angry at her for dying. She's angry at her for letting their country be undefended. She's angry and she's resentful, and you're seeing her take that out on Theo, Theodosia. You're seeing her take it out on her, and you feel bad for Theo because it's like, this is your aunt, this is your niece. But there's so much built up resentment and bitterness between the two. And it's mainly Dragonsbane's fault, She's a pirate now. She lives on the seas. She's kind of greedy. She doesn't really care that much about her people. But then she does care about her people. She wants to see her people be free. So I thought it was really interesting to see those character dynamics really come to life. But it was a little long. So I did lose some interest at some parts, and I was pretty much like, can we move on? Like, okay, we get it. I did like the character dynamics. I did like the new side characters that were introduced. I did like the development of the side characters. And that's what I like about a good writer. Sebastian does the character growth, but she doesn't just focus it on your main character. She also gives character development to the side characters, which a lot of authors tend to not do because, they're side characters. They're not 100% important to the plot. Like your main character, you have to focus on her. But your side characters are equally important, and I think a lot of authors forget that. So I have to applaud Sebastian for really taking the time with this novel to bridge that first and third novel and introduce a lot of strong female characters. It's full of strong female characters. This is a feminist reading. It's a feminist book. Strong female characters all the way. So I'm going to go ahead and give this book 4 out of 5 stars. It is a little slow, but ultimately it is rewarding, and I really do think it is going to be a good bridge from books 1 to book 2, highlighting a lot of the mysteries of Theo's magic that she's had inside of her. So, once again, 4 out of 5 stars. If you want to go ahead and purchase the book, please remember to purchase from your local bookseller or online book retailer. I will include links in the description. And please do not forget to support me by liking this podcast, subscribing to it, and sharing it with all your book loving friends. You can also become a supporter on Buy Me a Coffee or on Anchor FM, my recording platform, or by purchasing one of my handmade candles. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and as always, happy reading.